Welcome back, my free thinkers, to another video as I discuss for Model Monday the model behavior, and it concerns the LGBT community, particularly the T, and the model behavior that they've been demonstrating here lately in the past, I would say, 8 to 5 years. So stay tuned to is the LGB, or as people back in the day used to call it, the GLB, divorcing the T? Let's find out, and let's hear and see if you agree with my thoughts and others as I show a couple of clips that demonstrate how people are feeling about how this community here lately has been targeting Gen Z, and how Gen Z identifies as gay more than any other generation.
Hi, my name is Chrissy Messina, and I'm a trans woman living in Southern California. I recently joined Gays Against Groomers because I was tired of sitting idly by while radical trans rights activists and pedophiles drag the LGBT community's name through the mud and continue to sabotage the rights that we've all worked so hard for. And I'm hoping that by joining Gays Against Groomers and making this video, that more trans people will see that there are trans voices speaking out against this and will hopefully not be scared to come forward in the future.
Well, as you saw in that clip, that was just a representation or a representative of Gays Against Groomers, also known as GAG. And she was basically, speaking her truth and how she feels. And a lot of older trans, when I was growing up, didn't have all of these ideas and gender identities that they identified with. And it was never a desire for them to have a period or to have a child or anything like that. And it seems like this new generation, particularly Gen Z, is strongly influenced by this community and this new gender studies and gender ideology. And it seems to be targeted at them primarily. And they're very impressionable, and they're the youth, there are children, and they need to be protected. They're our greatest resource. And I feel that this is one of the big reasons why LGB wants to divorce the T. And there's been talks of that in the background. And it's coming more to the foreground because of how people are feeling about their children and being objected to nudity at gay parades, drag queen story time for children, they and them pronouns, gender studies, gender ideology. And the biggest thing is transitioning kids. This has become a radical left ideology that has become the forefront of why people are so upset and so basically feeling the fear, and they can't speak their minds, and they don't have freedom of speech, and they can't say what they don't agree with. And everything is being judged, and everything is being called hate speech. And everything is just so sensitive. Everything is just becoming so radical, basically. And it needs to stop. LGB, and in the past referred to as GLB, was nothing more than sexual orientation. And that's all it represents, is love who you want to love. And these communities, gay, lesbian, and bisexual, should have that right. And that's what they fought for. And that's what they protested and rioted, and some died in the struggle. And it was worth it because they wanted to fight for equality, and they fought for that, and we fought for those rights. Same-sex marriage, being able to raise children and have children, and being able to walk the streets without being a gay hate crime or fear of not being able to express your love for your partner or your significant one by holding hands and arm around each other or sharing a kiss in public without anyone saying anything or you being targeted or even attacked. And these things have all come to the present. And they fought back in Stonewall, and that's when the pride began. And I grew up with that generation that didn't want pride flags everywhere all day during Pride Month. They were happy just being accepted in society and for those rights that they fought for. And now TQAAI plus, etc., are all identities. And that's what separates the two. That's the big difference. You have sexuality, sexual orientation, and LGB, and then you have gender identities. And that's what's fueling this new ideology of gender studies and gender ideology and targeting the Gen Z population through social media and through other avenues. And it's becoming more and more increasingly in your face as Gen Z does identify as more gay and trans than any other generation.
Hello, my name is Joe, and I'm representing the Colorado chapter of the LGB anti nonprofit organization Gays Against Groomers. I live here in Jefferson County with my husband and our son, and as such, I'm speaking with authority as both a parent and a member of the LGBT community. I'm here today because Jeffco Public Schools continues to show up in the media. In case you haven't been paying attention, I'll give you a quick recap. Last week, an email circulated to Jeffco teachers from their union instructing them to collect and then destroy evidence of pronouns of students. Not only is this a violation of the 14th Amendment, but places our severe distrust in our children's educators. While this and previous administrations are so concerned with pronouns and jamming a radical sexual agenda down the throats of our children, you are failing them to be self-sustaining adults. Or did you forget that 61% of Jeffco students are not proficient in math, science, and or English based on the 2023 CMAS scores? We don't know if this is misguided ignorance or bad actors, but I'm here to tell you to stop. We do not condone minors being forcibly exposed in Colorado schools to gender ideology lessons from their teachers and school officials. The studies used to support this radical agenda by this and previous administrations has been consistently disproven around the world by actual doctors and scientists who are experts in endocrinology, gender identity, child psychology, and pediatric care. But since you ignore science and are only swooned by manipulative emotional claims, I'm here to plead with you. As a gay parent, you are setting back our rights. We beg of you to focus on STEM and put an end to gender ideology lessons, talks, medication support within schools, and support purposely hiding all of this from parents. You might think you're being an ally by being inclusive, but I can assure you your efforts will end up with more blood on your hands. It is a fact that minors who identify as transgender and complete sexual reassignment surgery have a 20% higher chance of committing suicide over peers who do not. Why in God's name would you allow this type of curriculum to be in the schools knowing the harm and confusion it causes? These kids can barely read. But sure, continue to indoctrinate children with your misguided viewpoints of sex. Watch as unenrollments continue to skyrocket, forcing you to close and consolidate even more schools. 16, 17, this has to stop because it is the parents that have lost all faith and trust in your ability to set up our children for success. And if my pleas as a parent and a member of the LGBT community have struck a chord with you, we invite you to visit radar.gaysagainstgroomers.com to review hundreds of scientific and medical studies which will confirm the lies you've been fed under the community umbrella. It isn't hard to succeed. Stop grooming our children and focus on STEM. Thank you for your time.
A lot of the older trans that I know say this is making them look bad and setting a bad name for them and their community of the T's, but not just them, but the whole LGBT is connected. And that's what the Model Behavior, Model Monday segment today is about. This whole video is about this behavior that's becoming so radical, so destructive that people aren't recognizing it. People aren't seeing that people are also using it as a mask to infiltrate the youth through drag and pride parades and things of that nature. And it's making it easier for people of a perverse nature to target children as well and hide in the community of the LGB. So it's making the whole community really look bad. And all of the things that they fought for in the past is in jeopardy. In a sense, people are looking at the LGBT community in a whole different light because it was never about children. It was always about loving who you want to love and your own sexuality, obviously, of consenting adults or of youths that are around the same age, so there's nothing statutory about it. But in closing thoughts, how do you feel? As a volunteer of GAG, Gays Against Groomers, I am full-heartedly opposed to transitioning kids, gays at, children at storytelling for drag queens, gay nudity at gay parades, children at gay parades, period, and definitely kids transitioning. They never talk about the detransitioning, and I'm going to do a video on that. And that's never brought to the light because there's so much money made off of these children to transition. And it's a life-changing operation. Life-changing. And someone that hasn't fully developed in their brain, they're an adolescent, hasn't a full grasp on life, hasn't had enough life experience to understand that life-changing is just that. It's life-changing. So in closing thoughts, what are your thoughts? How do you feel about transitioning kids? How do you feel about the T and this new radical behavior, how they may be targeting the Generation Z or not? Or do you feel there are some perverse people that are using the LGBT community as a mask to infiltrate little children and try to become a predator? Do you feel like the LGB should divorce the T? And if so, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment. Let me know your thoughts, the point of view, where you're coming from, because that's what this video is about, to push the lines, get us all thinking critically, and have this open discussion so we can get a better understanding. With that said, be well and be blessed.